C.S. Lewis, you probably know the name, I think, perhaps a brilliant and creative literary genius. And I realize those kinds of words get thrown around way too frequently and way too casually, but in his case, I think it's valid to use those words. One of the most, I think probably fair to say, one of the most celebrated writers in the English language. Lewis was a Christian, but he came to faith later in life and was very hesitant to come to faith. I mean, to put it mildly, when it came to his journey to Christian faith from atheism, resistive to that. In fact, Lewis describes part of the process this way. Here's his words. Here's what he writes. "You must picture me alone in that room in Magdalen, night after night, feeling, whenever my mind lifted even for a second from my work, the steady, unrelenting approach of him, God. Approach of him whom I so earnestly desired not to meet." Desired not to meet. Lewis didn't want God. He didn't want to come to faith. Again, he was resisting this, but God was pursuing him. This is his description of it. When Lewis finally put his faith in God, here's how he describes it. Again, these are his words, because his words are so much better than mine, but here's what he puts. In the Trinity term of 1929, he was a man of academia. In the Trinity term of 1929, I gave in and admitted that God was God and knelt and prayed. Perhaps that night, the most dejected and reluctant convert in all of England. Again, based on Lewis's own writings, it's fair to say that he was slow, cautious, hesitant, like people coming to hear me preach. Anyhow, but Lewis was ultimately amazed that God embraced him. He wrote this about God's extraordinary love, which, Lewis's words, God's love which will open the high gates to a prodigal who was brought in kicking, struggling, resentful, and darting his eyes in every direction for a chance of escape. I'm sharing this story with you because Lewis's story, his life, is a reminder to us that God is a very good and gracious God. He will welcome people to faith in many different ways. There's all kinds of ways to come. People from many different points of view and backgrounds and conditions. You're not too far. Listen, you're not too far away to come to faith in Christ.